Black feminism. Black feminism concentrates on the lived experiences of black women related to racism, sexism, and class. Black feminism concentrates on the lived experiences of black women related to racism, sexism, and class. So, black women suffer not only because they are women, but their problems, the issues they face are related to racism, sexism, class, and such things. It was born out of black women's protest against the marginalization they experienced inside the feminist movement because they were black, and in black liberation movements because they were women. So, black feminism emerged out of black women's protest against the marginalization they experienced inside the feminist movement. They experience discrimination inside the feminist movement because of their color. They are sidelined. They are sidelined in the inside the feminist movement because they are black, and also they are sidelined by black men in the black liberation movements because they were women. So they face discrimination as a woman and also a black woman. They are kept out of the black liberation movements because they were women. By their own men, they are sidelined. Post-colonial critic Chandra Talpadi Mohanty posits that mainstream Western feminism perpetuated racial prejudice by negating the experience of the black women. So, according to the post-colonial critic Chandra Talpadi Mohanty, the Western feminism always negate the experience of the black women. They always speak of the experience of white women. Black feminism believed that the issues faced by them are fundamentally different. That's what the black feminism believes, that the issues faced by the black women are different from those of white women. Yes, Fiona Talon says, for black women, all oppression was not reducible to sexual differences. Black women suffer not, not only by sexual difference, because of the sexual difference, and there was more than one identity battle to fight. Black women have to fight more than one identity battle. They called the feminist movements as white feminism to make a distinction between the oppression of black women and the white women. Black feminists called the feminist movements as white feminism. The mainstream feminism is white feminism, according to black feminists. Black feminist literature emerged during the third wave of feminism. It is during the third wave of feminism that black feminist literature emerged. In her book, Black Feminist Thought, Patricia Hill Collins traces the intellectual and academic history of black feminist criticism. Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys and In Search of Our Mother's Gardens by Alice Walker question the dominant assumptions of discrimination of women and voice the concerns of the women who are othered in the feminist discourses by the Western white feminists. Both these works, White Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys, and In Search of Our Mother's apostrophe Gardens by Alice Walker. Both these works question the dominant assumptions of sexual discrimination. They voice concerns of the women who were othered in the feminist discourses. They voice concerns of the non-white women who are always sidelined in the feminist discourses, othered in the feminist discourses by the Western white feminists. An important theoretical precept of black feminism is intersectionality. Kimberly Crenshaw coined the term intersectionality in 1989 as a method to analyze the overlapping of identities across social spheres. So, it is an important theoretical precept of black feminism, this intersectionality. Intersectionality. It is Kimberly Crenshaw who coined the term intersectionality. Intersectionality means that it is not the gender discrimination alone, issues related to gender alone that black women face or a non-white woman faces, but they face multiple issues like race, class, etc. Kimberly Crenshaw coined the term intersectionality in 1989 as a method to analyze the overlapping of identities. So, it's a method to analyze the overlapping of identities across social spheres. So, many identities overlap. Thus, a woman, besides being a woman, has racial, socioeconomic, sexual, political, and cultural identities. A woman, besides being a woman, so besides the identity of being a woman has racial, socioeconomic, sexual, political, and cultural identities. She is subjected to oppression and discrimination in all these fronts. Western mainstream feminist narrative fails to account for this multifaceted suppression of some sections of women. So, Western mainstream feminism fails to recognize this multifaceted suppression, this overlapping of identities of some sections of women. Crenshaw defines intersectionality as a lens, a prism for seeing the way in which various forms of inequality often operate together and exacerbate each other. We tend to talk about race inequality as separate from inequality based on gender, class, sexuality, or immigrant status. So, actually, uh, this race inequality is not separate from inequality based on gender, class, sexuality, or immigrant status. What's often missing is how some people are subject to all of these. Some women are subject to all of these. They suffer because of all these identities, and the experience is not just the sum of its parts.